Mohamed Kudus and Morgan Gibbs-White have signed for Spurs. This is great news, isn't it? Well, I'm going to have a look. Things like tactical analysis and how they'll just fit in with the squad are all going to be in this video. But I think these are going to be really good buys. I'm super excited. Obviously, we spent 120 million, which is a lot. And often with Spurs, they'll buy a player like this, or players like this, and they'll say, cool, that's it for the transfer window. But I'm not sure that's going to be the situation this time. There's rumours of possible investment, and additional rumours that we might buy even more players like Wharton in midfield. That would be unbelievable, by the way. So yeah, we're going to have a little look at how they can fit in the team, and yeah, why these are going to be great signings for us. So here on the tactics board, I've got a sort of predicted lineup for Spurs. It's kind of basic. In a little 4-2-3-1, you can see Maddison as the number 10. We've got Gibbs-White in a double pivot alongside Bentancur. I'm not sure how this will exactly line up. I'm not sure it's going to line up like this, but this is just a little basic thing. So first, I'm going to talk about Kudus, this man right here. See if we can maybe highlight him. So Kudus is, if we just put the circle, Kudus is going to be the right winger. To me, this seems quite easy, quite obvious. There's not too much debate. Some people might say, oh, he can play central. I disagree. I think this is a simple case of we've bought a guy who's left-footed, he's quick. He even said, I'm a direct winger in his interview. I mean, pretty obvious, right? He's a right winger. He's competing with Brennan Johnson to play on that side. Cool. So that's him pretty much sorted. But the big debate amongst Spurs fans is what we're going to do with this man, Morgan Gibbs-White. If I can also get a highlight for him. Just like this. Because Morgan Gibbs-White's best position, or at least the position he played at Nottingham Forest, was the number 10, where we see James Maddison in at the moment. But, well, obviously James Maddison's in this position at the moment. So you say, are you going to drop Maddison? Or are we just going to not start Gibbs-White? Is he a depth piece? But I also don't think this is the case either. Because I think Gibbs-White can play deeper. Last season at Forest were a team who sat back, and Gibbs-White was happy and used to playing deep in his own half, and receiving the ball in positions like this, and being able to hit these long passes into the wingers, into the channels, who could be a counter-attacking threat. So that's kind of the first option I think Frank could use. It's his basic 4-2-3-1 system, not too much about it, and it's just Gibbs-White alongside a defensive midfielder. We've got Bentancur there at the moment. I don't think it'll be Bentancur. I think that we're going to sign another defensive midfielder who's a more natural defensive midfielder. I've mentioned Belieber and Wharton. I'm going to talk a little bit more about them later, but he could just do that. But then he has some other options. I think the first option is a kind of 3-2-4-1 kind of thing. We see this with a lot of teams. Man City used to do it, Arsenal, Chelsea, where you have kind of the second midfielder, which is obviously Gibbs-White here. They push up alongside the natural 10, which is Maddison, to form a line of 4 with obviously the wingers behind the striker. And then you get one of the fullbacks tucking in. It would probably be Porro in this situation, looking at the side of Bentancur. So Porro tucking in, Romero goes over, Van der Ven central, and Udogie there. This is an option. Do I think he'll do it? Not really. But looking at the personnel he's got, it's a way to put Maddison and Gibbs-White in the same team. They'd both be in kind of favourable positions, sort of positions that they love to be in. Again, we just see, that's a terrible circle, but you get the point. They're both in the number 10. Feels a little box midfield between Bentancur, whoever's playing fullback. We've got Porro, as I say, Maddison and Gibbs-White. It'd be pretty effective. And again, you have a good back three here that can definitely defend transitions. It would be alright, but do I think this is the way we're going to play? No. I honestly think we will just stick with the 4-2-3-1, but what I hope we try and do is something a bit like PSG do. And this could be quite ambitious. We know it's taken PSG basically a year and a half to master this, and Luis Enrique, this is what he's all about. So even it took him a year and a half, Spurs might take longer than that. They might struggle. Do we have Vitinha? Do we have Neves? Arguably not, but maybe we can try and replicate it. So I just put them back in a basic kind of 4-3-3 formation, just for the minute. So what we're going to have here is Gibbs-White sort of staying there, Maddison pushing a little bit forward, with Porro really bombing forward, and Udogie just floating. This isn't too much, but it's sort of how PSG play. they play with a million rotations. So 1 minute he'll drop in, he'll go there, you'll go inside, you'll go right. It's a million different things. And it's so well coached at PSG, which is why it's taken quite a long time to coach into them. But now they've mastered it, it's almost impossible to play against. And it would be amazing to see Spurs try this. But if you look at the players we've got, they're all really good on the ball. Romero, Van der Ven, Bentancur, Udogie, Gibbs-White, Maddison, Porro. These are great players in possession. So I think it is a possible thing. And even if you add in players from the bench like Danso or Takai or even Tell out wide, and then signings that I hope will happen. Wharton, that would be an amazing one. I'm just going to put Wharton in instead of Bentancur for now. He's the sort of guy who can dictate the play. We all know that a defensive midfielder is key, and Wharton could be it. Bergvall as well, I forgot about him. I mean, how do I forget about Bergvall? He's brilliant. Maybe Son was injured, you put Gibbs-White there or Maddison there. It's a lot of options. Archie Gray as well even. As I say, a million just different options if you're going to play like this. Kulusevski, wow, like we've actually got a decent squad. I'll be honest with you, if we don't get injuries, obviously it's Champions League, there'll be a lot of rotation, which is another reason for the Gibbs-White signing. This could be very, very dangerous. So I hope we go and play like this, but I also understand why not, because it's a high risk, high reward kind of way of playing, because you'll get these guys forward, and against transitions, you're going to struggle, especially if we don't have Van der Ven, because we might end up looking a bit like this in possession. With just 3 guys back, Van der Ven, Wharton and Romero, if we're looking like PSG, and then say Van der Ven's injured, so if I just remove Van der Ven, put, say, Takai in, who can play a left side centre-back, suddenly we're looking susceptible to counters, which is why this man is so important. Whoever is here, I've recommended Carlos Baleba in some of my other videos, check them out by the way, because I think he's an immense guy who can stop counter-attacks, he's physical, and Premier League proven at stopping that kind of thing in an aggressive system. But also this man, Adam Wharton, could be pivotal if I can actually draw around him correctly. There we go. Because in this kind of system, a defensive midfielder, they need to stop everything. It's why Rodri at City, that's the difference. Out of possession, no one else can do what he does. And he can just mop up anyone in these kind of zones. I hate the word zones in football, but it's true. Every time the ball gets in this kind of region, big region around here, they mop it up. And Spurs need to identify the best player who can do this, while also not being a hindrance in possession. Which is why, again, PSG are so good. Vitinha and Neves, they're amazing at it. I would probably look to move for Baleba, but if Wharton is the option, I'm delighted with that as well. I just think Baleba's better out of possession. So we'll see what kind of ideas Frank's got in the first games of pre-season. I think we've got Reading, Luton, then we're playing Arsenal, which is kind of a big game, even though it's a pre-season game. It's a big game if we win it, not a big game if we lose it. You get the point. But in those games, we'll definitely see what his ideas are. As I say, I expect a 4-2-3-1. It's what he played at Brentford last year. And I mean, Liverpool won the league playing like that last season, so it's not too bad. But there's two positions that I think we need to get in. A defensive midfielder, as I mentioned. Just get me Baleba, man. I'd absolutely love that. And probably a fullback, mainly as depth. Udogie and Porro are mint. Jed Spence is also mint. But maybe a guy who can play on both sides. That'd be brilliant. And the good thing with this manager is I trust that he's adaptable. I trust that he's actually going to do something that's maybe going to get us a bit excited and maybe going to make me want to do more videos like this. At the moment, we have no clue. I'm just speculating, but I mean, you look at PSG. Imagine we get playing anything like that. That would be brilliant for us as fans. So yeah, in general, the two signings that we've obviously just made, or I think still haven't actually announced Gibbs-White yet, but apparently he's doing his medical today, which is really exciting. But yeah, Kudus and Gibbs-White, I think they're great signings. Like, Gibbs-White, he's the main man for Forest. They talk of him so highly. I think he was the captain as well, or at least on field he was the captain. He was definitely their main man, the leader. And Kudus is he's a maverick on the wing. So, really excited to see them play for Spurs. And I think they're genuinely going to have a really good impact. So, if you like this video, then like it. Thanks. That'll be pretty useful. I also love if you comment, if you have anything to say, any suggestions, any opinions. So yeah, do that. And check out my other videos. I haven't done a lot yet, but you know, if you check them out, I see I get more views, then maybe I'll make a few more. So thanks for watching.